Hey-ho und willkommen zu einer weiteren Folge von Genshin Impact. Nein, wir reden nicht mit Midori. Hier vorne. Der nächste. Augenlose Typ. Also.
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma. The ones actually enforcing the Vision Hunt Decree. But why would they take action against one of their own? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation. How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency provisions.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand? Not some goods to be pocketed by greedy samurai.
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Notvorräte? Meinen Sie damit Nahrung?
Oh, huh? And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
Nö.
What? We just happened to be passing by. We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps you can help us settle this matter. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for distribution. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he suddenly refuses to give us anything. He's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it. We'll starve without them.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true colors. He's the same as all the other samurai. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But why would she ever want us to help someone like him? Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
Ist er das nicht? Achso, du bist Kurosawa. Und du hast kein Auge mehr, also keine Vision mehr. Okay, dann erzähl uns doch mal. Was ist passiert?
I've never even heard of these emergency provisions.
Okay.
I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, would I still be the poor man I am today? My own family can barely get by as it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to attend to.
Ja, wir haben gehört, dass du dein göttliches Auge verloren hast.
And that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision. And they said I was slacking off in my work. Apparently, I'd even disappointed the Raiden Shogun. And that's why they confiscated my vision.
Ey, das ist so assi.
You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt Decree. Why would you be unworthy of your vision?
To be perfectly honest, I don't seem to remember the details.
Ah, stimmt. Erinnerung
All I know
verloren.
is that I would perform certain things every month. But I don't recall what they were. And it's not just that. I have this unsettling feeling, like someone owes me something.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provisions?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself, I wouldn't be going through such hard times right now. To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders, which is why I came here in the first place. I was chasing after them when I got held up by these two. If you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself. If there were any emergency provisions to be had, they would have found them.
Huh. He seems to be telling the truth. But we better confirm. Let's go round up those treasure hoarders and see what they have to say. We should be able to follow their tracks. They couldn't have gone too far.
Jetzt brauchen wir wieder das Auge. Ja, wir brauchen es da hinten. Und hier gewittert es. Okay. Muss ich hier meine Vision benutzen? Da unten sind auf jeden Fall Gegner. Soll ich die bekämpfen? Nein, oh. Ich muss meine Gruppe noch umändern. Ups. Truppe, nicht Gruppe.
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods. We really hit the jackpot. I mean, besides that one house.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more where this came from. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of pillage and plunder that will go down in hoarder history. You demand, boss.
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after. Let's teach them a lesson.
Okay, ich habe da hinten gerade was gesehen. Das schauen wir uns gleich an. Zuerst... Ach, komm schon. Hier.
Oh, there goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know?
Ja, genau, warte.
Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders?
Nee.
Use someone like you.
Ja, nicht. Das heißt, ihr habt Kurosawas Haus geplündert?
Kurosawa? Oh, I remember. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our luck. I knew we shouldn't have hit that place.
So what did you see inside? Was it stuffed with food supplies?
Food supplies? You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a strange-looking box, hopefully with valuables inside. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it myself once we got back. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal? That little box for our freedom. What do you say?
Ich kann euch fertig machen und euch die Box wegnehmen. Was?
Show us what's in the box.
Nein.
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here but IOUs.
Yeah, a lot of them too. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store, a Miss Aoi. We're talking tons of Mora here. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get to the bottom of this. As for you guys, you're free to go. Just pray that our paths don't cross again.
Yes, of course.
Jetzt haben die Angst vor Palmer,
So,
finde ich gut.
we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean we broke even?
Shut it. Let's just get out of here.
Ja, das war schon ein schlechter Deal, aber ich meine, für uns hat das ja eine andere Bedeutung. Okay, ich habe da hinten etwas gesehen. Als ob. Doch. Wellenreiter rufen. Hallo? Da, oh mein Gott, ja. Das Ding ist wieder da. Oh mein Gott, ist das cool. Wo müssen wir eigentlich hin? Ah, ich muss da hinten hin. Hallo, Aoi.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got
Tsukumomono.
everything you need. Can
Wirklich
I help you
alles?
find something?
Ja.
Or perhaps there's something you want to inquire about?
Ja, nämlich diese Schuldscheine hier.
Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it? Perhaps you're here to pay off his debts.
Nee, das nicht.
Whoa, whoa, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're just here to learn where they all came from.
Ja.
How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy anything super expensive here?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. He'd always put the payment on his own account. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So, he started writing out IOUs to cover whatever he couldn't afford of the usual amount.
So that's how he was getting those emergency provisions. But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the prices increased, couldn't he just buy less?
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed to sustain them each time. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such long and careful planning. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people down.
Wow. Kurosawa was purchasing all the emergency provisions at his own expense. And no one ever appreciated what he did. They just complained and held him accountable.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hardship, nobody cares to think twice. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from the start, then there wouldn't be such a severe backlash now.
Ja,
Of
schon,
course,
aber
I'm
macht
sure
doch
there would
keiner.
still have been some unrest. What he was doing was truly a thankless deed. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, I'm still not too clear myself. If you're
Wahrscheinlich ist
still
irgendwas mit
curious,
seiner
why
Vergangenheit.
don't you go ask him yourself?
Naja, er erinnert sich halt nicht mehr, weil er sein Auge
I
verloren hat, sein
see.
göttliches.
That
Yeah.
reminds me, it seems that his vision was recently confiscated. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell that sword that is so dear to him.
Sword? What sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? He possesses a very valuable blade. He's carried it for years now. I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father, that it was too precious to sell.
Hat er das noch?
In hindsight,
Oder wurde das geklaut?
I
Oh nein, wir
regret
müssen
that
wieder
I
hinter den
never
Herrn.
made an offer on it. Everything has its price, at least that's what I think. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even provide you with the answers you're looking for. Oh, but before you go, if you would kindly settle today's bill.
But we didn't buy anything.
Information is also a kind of commodity, wouldn't you agree?
Nö.
Don't worry, I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever discussed was explicitly confidential anyway. Oh, let me think. 2,000 Mora should be a fair price.
Nö. Nö. Du kriegst keine 2000 und dafür, dass du mir... Ah. Ey, die sind alle Wucher.
At least we now know where the emergency provisions are coming from. Plus, we found out that Kurosawa has a priceless sword in his possession.
Was er wahrscheinlich nicht mehr
Talk
hat.
to Kurosawa again and see if he can remember anything.
Und wir fragen ihn mal nach seinem Schwert.
What are you doing here all by yourself? Where did those other two go?
Gute Frage.
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. They left. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
Also
Everything I said was
ja.
true, right?
Ja. Ist ganz schön viel passiert. Du erzählst Kurosawa das Ereignis von den Schatzräubern und gibst an.
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions, but they were all purchased at your own expense.
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't really have any such recollection.
Krass.
Even after all you've told me, I still don't remember anything.
Was es
Why
ausmacht,
was I
dieses
purchasing
göttliche
emergency
Auge zu
provisions for
verlieren.
everyone?
Weiß ich
And why
nicht.
would I put myself in such a difficult situation? I really don't understand. But I cannot deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow reluctant to do so.
Das Schwert. Dürfen wir uns das mal ansehen? Nein, das
The
Schwert.
sword was once wielded by my father. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. My father ended up catching me in the act and scolded me severely. What did he say? I can't seem to remember that either.
Vielleicht bekommen wir das
It
Schwert
would
am
seem
Ende.
that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. So many memories gone. Forever. No matter how hard I try to remember, all I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. Before he passed away, he placed the sword in my hands and said to me, "With this sword, you should..."
Hey,
You
if
should.
you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved on the hilt.
Natürlich
Can
ist
you
es das.
recognize the words?
Tugend und Gerechtigkeit.
Virtue and justice? Somehow those two words seem to explain everything now. Taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all.
Genau, treib dich selbst in den
But what
Ruin,
use
Hauptsache
of
andere
virtue
geht's
and
gut.
justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need. And look how things ended up.
Ja.
The Tenryou Commission seized my vision. And the very people I was so desperately trying to help refused to understand me. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt sorry when threatening them with my blade. I'm incapable of being a good person,
Was?
yet I'm equally unable to be bad. I
Das
don't
alles zeigt
know
einfach
what
nur,
to
was
do
für ein
with
guter
myself.
Mensch du bist.
Yet another troubled soul. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. The Yashiro Commission would surely help cover his expenses.
Ja, genau, aber es war ja nicht für ihn.
We
Da
must
helfen die
never let
vielleicht.
him sell off that sword.
Ein göttliches Auge zu verlieren, ist kein Zuckerschlecken. Hä, warum geht der Satz da vielleicht einfach weiter? Aber egal.
Yeah, seems like losing all ambition is a terrible experience. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.
Ich frage mich aber, ob wir auch irgendwas haben, was man uns stehlen kann. Die Archons haben ja zum Beispiel ihre Gnosis, also das göttliche Herz. Und das kann man denen ja auch irgendwie wegnehmen. Und das hängt ja nicht immer an den Klamotten dran. Was, wenn wir auch irgendwie sowas haben und das einfach vergessen haben? So, das war's mit einer weiteren Folge von Genshin Impact. In der nächsten Folge geht es dann mit dem dritten Typen weiter. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet viel Spaß beim Zusehen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss.